Hello everyone, welcome to this epic showdown between a dog and a little brother, just for today. Before Snow's birth, Ben eagerly awaited her, vowing to be a great big brother, but it all changed on her arrival. That day, Mom surprisingly left. Ben felt wronged and blamed Snow. Lonely Snow then spotted seals in the water, walking towards them like a sleepwalker. Gulu rushed to save her, but Ben was too scared to enter the water, so poor Gulu jumped into the sea, dragging Ben along for the wild ride. Snow flailed about in the water like a fish out of water, but the water wasn't even that deep. Once on land, Ben blamed her again, pulling out a toy gun and demanding Snow fall. This was Snow's favorite game, Follow Me Home. Back home, Ben ran to Dad to complain, feeling wronged, while Dad just stared into space. Since Mom left, Dad was lost and interested in nothing. Then Grandma unexpectedly visited their island. Today was Snow's birthday, and Grandma wanted to take them to the city, but the kids were a little intimidated by her strict demeanor. Just look at how simply Snow was dressed for her birthday. She pulled Snow into a room, dressed her fancy, then spotted a shell on the floor. Snow instantly fell in love. But then the brother snatched the shell back. Ben was furious, as it was left for Snow by their mom. At night, Grandma prepared the camera to capture the happy moment. When Snow was about to blow the candles, mischievous Ben pushed her into the cake. Dad was planning a trip to town, while Grandma had her emotional moment. Snow's birthday was also her mother's Memorial Day, and she desperately wanted a story from her brother. Ben scared her with a story, saying the island was Giant Mike, their mother and owl, which freaked out Snow. On Christmas Day, the elves would traditionally come out to play, but now they had to hide from glaring owls, dubbed the stone sculptors, who would turn them to realizing he might have gone too far. Ben clarified it was just a story Mom told, not reality. But Snow didn't respond. After Ben slept, she quietly snuck out to grab the shell. In the bathroom, Snow gently blew the shell, and the sound drew light spots through the window as she curiously followed them upstairs. She found a key under her mother's photo and followed the lights to a box. Inside, she found a snow-white coat that felt strangely familiar. Putting on the coat, Snow followed the light spots and finally arrived at the sea, where a group of seals awaited her before diving down into the water. As soon as she hit the water, she transformed into a little seal, swimming effortlessly with the group, witnessing an unbelievable sight. Grandma noticed her disappearance, shouting her name. Snow pretended to wash ashore, scaring Grandma badly. Dad came home drunk, argued with Grandma, vowed to take kids to the city next day. He spotted Ben's white coat. He tossed it back into the box and threw the whole thing into the sea, no matter how much Ben protested. She could only scream helplessly at the beach. As Ben ran along the rope towards the shore, the boat had already sailed away and her cries were whisked away by the waves. While the seals quietly watched, Snow wanted to comfort her brother but got brushed off. Who knew that Lonely would just jump into the water to swim over her? Grandma drove straight to the sand, doodled some iconic buildings on paper, plotting his stealthy return. Today was Halloween, and Ben's boring life didn't excite the kids at all. Ben decided to kick back with some music while Snow took her shell upstairs. She rummaged through Grandma's wardrobe and found a big coat, putting it on and practicing her shell tunes to attract the city-dwelling fish. When Grandma discovered her, Snow was in the bathtub, wearing her big coat and sipping water, trying to relive her magical night at sea. Furious, Grandma sent them to bed. The fairies mistook it for a seal coat and excitedly grabbed it, while Ben continually protested, but he decided Friday was the day to execute his escape plan. Ben secretly climbed out the window, followed closely by Snow. He tried to send her back, but Snow was adamant about sticking together, so he reluctantly. They were lured by the light spots into an alley, where the fairies swarmed around Snow, convinced she was the legendary seal girl, not realizing Ben was served a side of extra trouble. The fairies sang around Snow, and Ben joined in, because as long as the seal girl wore the coat and opened her mouth, she could take them all home. Little did they know, it was just an ordinary coat. Hiding nearby, Ben wanted to yell that Snow couldn't even talk. The fairies rejoiced, but owls suddenly appeared, diving at them. Mom's minions, Ben quickly found Snow a hiding spot. The fairies guarded the entrance, while owls trapped their emotions. Before turning to stone, they begged Ben to find the code for Snow to sing. Just then, an owl burst in, scaring Snow so much she blew into the shell, shattering the emotion-trapping glass bottles and sending owls flapping away in panic. The fairies worried they might turn back, urging Ben to get out of there quickly. Just then, a bus stopped in front of them, and the driver informed them it could only take them halfway, with the rest leaving tomorrow. With no other option, they boarded the bus, but Ben was shocked to discover his sister was the seal girl. Meanwhile, Snow blew the shell loudly, and seeing the light spot stream into the nearby forest, Snow ignored Ben's protests and got off the bus, plunging into the woods after them. Ben was scared the light spots would attract elves, so he tried to steer Snow in the opposite direction. Leading the way, Ben brought them into a creepy woods, where suddenly animal sounds echoed. Ben thought it was an owl and hid, but it was Lonely who popped up instead. Seeing his friend, Ben couldn't help but jump for joy. Since Lonely found them, he could definitely lead them home. So they all ran home together, but Snow was getting more and more exhausted. Snow coughed endlessly, her hair turning grey, which broke Ben's heart, so he put her on Lonely's back and slowed down. Suddenly, the sky unleashed a rainstorm, and they wanted to hustle forward. But then Snow fell off Lonely, and Ben quickly scooped her up again to push on. In front of the church, grass grew wildly, and Ben trudged through the pain to get Snow inside faster to escape the rain. Snow looked at his wounded foot with concern, then quietly stepped back outside, soon returning with some wood leaves. The wooden leaves helped ease Ben's pain, and the barriers started to fade. Outside, the rain continued to pour as Snow picked up the shell and began to play. This time, the light spot streamed straight down into a well. Snow resolved to return the shell to Ben and then leaped into the depths of the well.